You know, I was thinking the other day amidst everything happening in Minneapolis, how Caucasian participants in rap music can pay reparations. And the more I look at people like Alchemist, I'm like, him supplying the streets with these beats is reparations. Like, it has to be. I feel the same way about LP, Kenny Beats. You know, you're providing a service, a necessity. Alchemist has not missed. Like, the dude does not, he's incapable of missing as a producer. That Boldface EP, from a production standpoint, none of that is a miss. As a rapper, I would assume Alchemist is one of the greatest tools of all time. So if you can't make something good with that, all the responsibility and blame immediately falls on the rapper. That's a lot of pressure just being in a room with a producer. I had to jog my memory again because I forgot Alchemist also did Freddie Gibbs and Currency's joint project Fetty, I think, along with being a part of some of my favorite songs. People got to understand when that loop gets in your ear, that dustiness, that old feeling, it takes you to a certain space that just doesn't exist anywhere else in the landscape. I know, it started off on a tangent. I really do want to go into this Freddie Gibbs record with Alchemist without Bandana in mind, without Pinata in mind, without Shadow of a Doubt in mind, without the Kenny Beats joint he did a while ago. We got this new project called ALFREDO, Alchemist and Freddie, Alfredo, and then the sauce. I'm dripping. They're dumb. I've already heard 1985. I really love the Bernie Mac sample. I really love the guitar peeking in and out of that track. So we're going to go straight into track number 2. I think it's called God is Perfect. Oh, fuck. I'm already entranced. This track is already enticing just because of the off-key piano. You don't care about what I'm talking about. This shit is smooth. I didn't want to speak on this shit, but it's really been racking my brain. Oh man. And if he refines himself to this degree when he drops Montana the next time, I don't know if I'll be able to handle it. Because these are the type of beats I want him on, some darker instrumentals, and then it's like he has perfect control of the atmosphere. And it does not. This one right here does not sound like an Alchemist beat. Or maybe that little peak of a vocal sample in there that we just got. I don't know, but it just doesn't sound like Alchemist right now. Yo, Freddie Gibbs is perfect. I fuck with this a lot. And all of a sudden you realize I'm on the wrong page. That switching key on the piano completely just darkens it for me. And then I keep going into the track. The more and more I keep listening to it, you know, it seems like there's such a refinery to his flow now. Not saying that there hasn't always been, but it's to a level where it's like just almost untouchable by anyone else. He's got his style now. Like, it's like distinct. Like, I could only really picture him in this space. Then we get to the end, like it's almost like he's at the end of a performance, and then the dude's congratulating him on being original. And then at the end, I don't know why, but we got Jill Scott's The Revolution Will Not Be Televised part in there. So great transition into the next track, Scottie Beam featuring Rick Ross. Revolution is the genocide. Your execution will be televised. Oh, okay, wait, whoa. Wait a minute, buddy. You wait a goddamn minute now. Like how that ties into the placement of the Jill Scott portion at the end of the last track. And then him saying the revolution will be genocide and your execution will be televised. Like, that's almost like a mirror image of what's going on in Minneapolis right now. Or, you know, to me, what I could understand people doing in this moment. I don't know if this was just, you know, convenient timing when this dropped, or if he made that with the intention of like, all right, I need to speak on this. I don't know. Asked him, yo, what's the problem, sir? I swear to duck the potholes, man, I had no option, sir. I hate to be on the run for smoking the officer. We was busting that police before. Oh my God. This is the perfect track for right now. In this climate, what's going on right now, this track is perfect. And it illustrates exactly how so many black people feel. Not even just how they feel, maybe what they want to do. But as he said, you know, not being able to do it because you don't want to be on the run for the rest of your life because you off someone that was fucking with you. I never gave a fuck. Hook shot a hole like Kareem, but I never lead a book. This is hard. Me and Scottie Beam. Shit was different when Mike left, and it was Scottie team. That flip from Scottie Beam and the Scottie team is great. Until the penitentiary just That little portion right there sounds like when Trey was using the bathroom in the middle of the night and Furious was like getting his gun ready to blow somebody away off Boys in the Hood. This is great. I don't know. I don't think I'm used to listening to Alchemist in that format where he's so in tune with the artist that all the beats lend themselves to the theme of the project and like to the cohesiveness of it. Like some of these so easily transitioning into the next beat or the next instrumental just work so seamlessly, where on other tracks it might feel like he did a one-off with someone. So the track just seems to have a formula, but here they seem so much more refined, and I don't know why. I think I know why, but I really don't know why. Rick Ross's verse on here was great. It wasn't as good as Freddie Gibbs to me. Freddie had some hard hitters in here. A lot of it talking about not wanting to be fucked with, and at the same time not wanting the consequences that come with just defending yourself when you're just doing your own thing and somebody's fucking with you that's supposed to be protecting you. And I just think that illustrates what's going on right now so beautifully, so perfectly and accurately right now. Instrumentally, piano, and everything else about that track, I loved it. Track number 4 is Look at Me.
Look at me, motherfucker, look at me. And my bitch got a tax check back, she gon' put a real nigga back on this beat. I'm cooking that.
I'm saying, man, he's doing it.
I just spill over on you.
You see that transition? Do you see that transition? Oh my God, and that shit got Benny the Butcher. I wouldn't have mind if they would have just made that into one track, because I know it transitioned into this Frank Lucas song that I'm about to listen to now, but I kind of would have liked for Look at Me to just be a track with Frank Lucas, only because it takes a little while for that track to actually get going. And I do understand that they had to build the atmosphere for it, but it changes, you know, pretty quickly. Or this cut could have just been titled an interlude. I still like the track. It's just the pacing of it is a little odd when we get into Frank Lucas, and then a little portion of Look at Me is used to transition into Frank Lucas. So I don't know, maybe they just could have been merged into one. I wouldn't have mind that at all, especially with how much time was given to Look at Me and to build that atmosphere. That's all.
Bitches after your last dollar, they take your last name. I'm married to this shit.
Oh my God, no. Fuck this dude, seriously.
Space Ghost, fentanyl, got a gas mask when I make dope. I done seen a lot of OGs at the table having trying to taste dope. I just got another case.
It's not choppy. The flow is so smooth and it transitions so easily. It's just, it feels like such fluidity. It's such a mastery over this style, man, and it just works so well over any track that he's on.
Capping ass nigga, Jeezy used to say, boy, you want rapping ass nigga. I said I'm shit off and I got richer. Shit is funny.
This is so hard. I don't know. I just don't know. It's like they're doing it, and he passes the rock. I'm not talking about crack. He passes the rock, you know, to Benny. Benny's delivery is just so like descriptive. Like his words hit with a different type of explanation than someone like maybe a Pusha T. Like a Pusha T would demand attention, but a Benny the Butcher kind of just paints the entire room. How much do you make?
Look what I converted to from letting burners loose out convertibles.
Wait. No, you didn't. You didn't do that. You didn't say look what I converted to after you made the car reference.
Pussy best when it's moist. Got a hammer and a brick from a plug.
I mean, that's not when it's best. That's the only time it's usable. What do you mean? Pizza's only good when it's hot. When else would you eat it? Now I'm about to get a bunch of weirdos talking to me about like, oh man, cold pizza might get out, go. Now that guitar sounds really familiar, but I ain't gonna do it right now. Okay, goddamn man, like it just, I feel like I have to take all of it in at once, because if I don't, like there's a piece of this that you missed. The transitions make the intro of the next track hurt and hit like so much harder. The ending to a lot of these songs sound like a bunch of pressure building up into one point that just explodes at the start of the next track. And while it makes for a great transition, it also makes for a great start. Not that you have to use the transition for the start of the next song to be great. It just explodes as soon as we get into it, and I like that. Benny and Freddie on that track were fantastic. It seems like a root or a core of a lot of what they were saying in this track as well was kind of just like, we don't want anybody fake flexing, and we know we birthed a lot of this style and made it seem cool to some people that don't live it, But at the same time, like, if you're doing this, we know that you know, probably rent the people that you're associated with, lying in your rap songs about the shit that you've been through when we lived it in real life. And it sounds like some 80s crime movie too. A really suspenseful but dark and gritty track. So I like it a lot for that reason. They completely embody, I guess, kind of what I go to them for. Next track is Something to Rap About, and this features Tyler the Creator. These strings are perfect. I don't think so. Freddie Gibbs has those bars in some of his music that make you like, it's like, all right, that was kind of funny, but like at times it borders like drunk uncle rap. Like when they might go a little bit too far with some of the shit that they said at the cookout. Like, all right, relax. All right, go sit down.
The old me. I'm trying to live in 93 and see the old me. When I touch that crack, I let them crackers take control of me. Sir, the IRS get me your payment plan. Gotta pay the man. Straight survival. On the Bible, I won't take the stand.
Dog, this is crazy. Not only are the strings here, and this track is so full of color. That's what guitars do. They add so much color to some of these tracks. Because the last track, I think the last track was Frank Lucas. I might be wrong though. The last track was so dingy and dark and gray. And then we get to this track, it's so like colorful and bright, even though he's talking about something that's way against that aesthetic that I felt was being painted. I'm trying to live till 93 so I can see the old me after I just said these niggas trying to take me to the old me. Once you pay, you gotta pay the man. Some of these lines he's just like going off. I'd much rather have an album full of, you know, coke rap, reflective rap, where we get casual gems being dropped, as opposed to an entire like record that wants to be a woke concept album. We got an even lighter aesthetic for Tyler the Creator's portion.
The boat I haven't bought yet. It sound like the moment
you see what I'm saying? This sounds great.
Used to be a goblin under them bridges. Now I'm a businessman. I started getting
like Tyler's giving a very reflective verse as well. He's giving, you know, he's putting some people up on game probably. You know, I used to be a goblin, but now I'm a businessman thing. I would assume it means so much to someone like Tyler, because that transition, the whole makeup of who he was and his marketability changed completely based off of a switch in content, based off of a difference in how he portrays himself, you know, and realizing that for the future, yeah, this is fun for right now, but I'm probably not going to be able to live this forever. It was an artistic move to change his content, I'm sure, but it was also a business one.
niggas and I ain't coughing. I know me, y'all often anxious, lost it.
Fuck!
Y'all go get your paper, bitch. Rabbit potty training every morning, home cooking dope and cleaning baby shit. Doja Cat let me be from the bike. Wash your engine, that bitch on the bike.
Nigga, no. Did you not see what happened? Did you not see what just happened? Go be hitting it from the back. She turn around and call you nigger boy. Like, what are we doing here? How are we doing this slave master role play here if both of us are black? What are we doing? Crying the other day when talking about like Doja Cat on her Only Clans account.
Ain't nobody ever gave me shit. I had to take this shit, go get your paper, bitch.
Let's not do that.
But I'm rusty as fuck with Arabic. Lord, take me as I am, cause I'm gonna come.
That's what I like. I want more people when they're using samples to use a sample almost like a feature. Like that's what I think utilizing these samples, these like old aesthetics is to their like fullest form, is utilizing them as a voice in the song more than just a looped background. So I like what I just heard just now.
Mac, Black Mac, that's the MasterCard. Plus my oldest son is failing math. That shit ain't adding up.
Man, you gotta acknowledge here, like, I don't remember what tape it was off of, but Conway was rapping about being really frustrated coming out of, you know, recovery basically, because everything was different, everything was fucked up after the shooting or whatnot. And, you know, look at him talking about, you know, this now as opposed to being worried about living for his son. He's casually talking about his son failing math and how he needs to see him more, just to see how people's predicaments and their situations change and how they go from being in danger all the time to, all right, now I got some chill time. I got some downtime. I don't have to be that all the time. You know, I could be this and feel like I'll make it home at the end of the day. So I like that. Next track is Skinny Suge.
He come back and kill me. I know this shit was business, man. I down the crack, bet on myself like I went back to the future with a rap almanac. Got me back, man. I'm literally selling dope to rap.
Oh, fuck. You gotta have some faith in yourself to even feel like that. You know what I mean? You gotta really be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. When you deep in the tunnel, to fund your rap career through selling dope. And it's like, if the promoters don't have the money for it, you don't really have a team like that. How do you build yourself to a point where you can even get to a point where you make money? Because it takes money to make money. So it's like a lose-lose. Having to sell dope while you rap, that's the worst position for you to be in, because you're trying to gain money. You're trying to gain popularity and more exposure while you're trying to be low-key. Like, that's the worst predicament to be in. And I've seen people do it. In my real life, I've seen people try, and it never worked out well. Something, you see what I'm saying, though? Like, that doesn't work. So sometimes you get lucky. You need a lot of luck, and you need some opportunity.
I know it's a plastic nigga that's sold. Put a pistol to him, keep his bitch off smack. She called the police, now he doing 7 years for a sec.
That's another thing people got to be aware of, is who they sell to. If they get addicted, they know too much about you. Especially if you the type to supply them with something like that for free. Like, you just doing them a favor just to give them a high or whatnot. If you stop supplying, they will call police on you. Like, it's crazy. You will get yourself in a bind. Just don't do it. For me, at least, it sounds like he's like trying to say I'm as bad as Suge to a degree. Like, as demonic of a light that people put Suge Knight in, like, he's basically not that far off. I guess the things that he's done wrong is like the guilt. Even the strings that I hear are like smothered, and it's like the want to express this remorse kind of for maybe what you did, but it being smothered to such a degree because you're not supposed to say anything. Like, I feel that will really get to you after a while. And he even says, like, the smoking won't make the pain go away. So, all glass.
Better get that boy to the doctor before the bullet spread. Follow him to the hospital, shoot it out in the parking lot, my nuts.
It seems to come across, or the way it was released seems so casual. So I wasn't expecting too much from it. And so that's why, like, now I'm surprised at how good all of it is, because it didn't really seem like a build-up in anything. Just a song that was supposed to drop Thursday, and then boom, what do you know, an album's coming out. I would say all these songs are great, with the exception of the one track that I feel kind of takes a little bit long to get started, and could have easily, I feel like, been an addition to instead of a separation from Frank Lucas. I think most of the features here 150% hold their own weight, from Benny to Conway to Tyler the Creator, especially, to Rick Ross. Alchemist, I think, has such a mastery over creating the world for Freddie Gibbs to exist in. Like, whatever picture that he wants to paint, Alchemist literally just uses the production as like a paintbrush and just goes over each track. When it comes to the ambiance of a track, when it comes to like the layers that a track might have, as sonically it's almost being articulated for you. I know it doesn't sound like it makes sense, but like, how does that work? How is the production talking to me right now, as well as the artist? I think we get some new content here as well, you know, with Freddie Gibbs talking about the guilt that comes with everything that he's done, and kind of being very transparent with us and himself, and saying that, hey, you know, I think I'm dope, but at the same time, I've done some fucked up shit, and I feel trash because of it sometimes. Going on to talk about how he feels and how he would handle being profiled. Going on and talking about how he feels towards people who rat and people who don't live the lives that they portray. Well, I disagree with why he feels like he was meant to sell crack and because God needed him to rap about something. I feel like he could have been just as great of a lyricist if he had been doing something else in life. I don't think that it requires him to do that. But the colors being so vibrant in that track, and it being so smooth, along with Freddie, who, despite what he's talking about, is so fluid on a track like this and isn't trying to be so hard and abrasive. Even when Freddie's rapping with filler content, it never feels like filler because his bars are just always there. There's always something witty or something funny, whether it's tongue-in-cheek or not. From a technical point of view, Freddie's rapping here is like almost the best I feel like it's ever been. So while I'm still gonna give this multiple spins off of the first impressions, the first listen, and that's how I feel about Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist's new record, ALFREDO. Unexpectedly great album. Not because I thought it would be bad, but just because I didn't know it was going to come out and, you know, no buzz behind it or anything, and it would be this good. But y'all let me know how you feel about it in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. And until next time, I'm out. Stay safe. Yeah. Peace.